Along these lines, each city-state is going to have a god whom they are going to serve and try to work to exalt above all the other city-states' gods. Intense competition will result in frequent warfare, and much of this isn't just going to be related to religion. Economics are going to be a factor behind it because, in particular, water is has so much value. And this will be especially the case as more and more of these city-states start to swell in population. Most of what a city is going to produce with that water will pass through a temple, again emphasizing the importance of this priestly upper class. The priests will take inventory using the expanding letters and phonetic combinations in their pictograms and then redistribute the wealth as they see best fit. Eventually, these guys are going to start, again, making the textiles and the cloths and employ thousands of women and children to do it. And while they're doing this, it's not just to try to make themselves a little bit better, but also to please their gods. They're going to go try to develop themselves economically to please gods. They're going to go war with other city-states to please gods, and not just at the bottom of the societal spectrum to do these things to make sure that you're accomplishing all that you ought to religiously, but the upper priestly class understands that losing these wars and then indirectly displeasing these gods is going to jeopardize their power and the city-state's independence, or in other words, the priestly class's ability to exert power, the independent ability to exert power over their city-states. But about 2900 BC, it's going to change a little bit. Military leaders are going to begin to emerge above these priests to eventually evolve into something of a kingship. They're going to become what they're going to term lugals, or big men. And their success in battle and the emphasis on war to please these gods ultimately is going to remove some of the power from the priests, because the big men, or lugals, are going to be the ones who are clearly in favor of the gods because of the different battles that they're winning. Initially, these gods were identified with forces from the natural world, flood, wind, stuff like that. But after these dynasties start to become, they're going to imagine that their gods are being represented by these powerful lugals, and that are now ruling these city-states. The gods are clearly going to desire to live in the finest of palaces and temples, wear costly dress, and eat tasty foods. Of course, these gods are embodied within these big men, so the big men then are asking for these things for themselves as they go and try to please these gods. And they're going to explain that humans existed merely just to provide for these gods. They're going to try to make these gods happy, who are, of course, embodied by these lugals. The gods depended upon their human servants to honor and sustain them. In return, the gods occasionally bestowed gifts and favors. So they would get some blessings, the lower folk, when they are able to try and make sure that the gods or these lugals are happy. It's just a little example about how the religion was being used to not necessarily come right out and exploit, but certainly keep a leg up for the upper class upon people that were above them in society. The aristocracy will always make up the priestly class, and not just for religious reasons, but remember, these guys are redistributing